The final video in this section is talking about the management tools that we have available to manage our Azure resources. This includes the portal, of course, but also the command line that we use as well. One of the requirements of this exam is that we need to understand how we can manage our resources running inside of Azure. So besides the Azure portal, you have other options that you can use to connect to your resources inside of Azure, start them, stop them, create them, delete them, and have a full range of management capability for those resources. Now, two of the most common ones are the command line tools. One is called CLI, Command Line Interface, and one is called PowerShell. Now, PowerShell might be familiar to Windows users because Windows ships with a tool called PowerShell, which is a powerful scripting language that can be used to automate a number of tasks. There is an SDK for PowerShell, so you can connect to Microsoft Azure from PowerShell and again be able to create, manage, delete, and do all the things with the Azure resources from within a PowerShell script. Now, CLI is based on the Bash platform, which is a Linux command line. And so if you come from the Linux world, you're familiar with Bash, and so the CLI commands might be very familiar to you from that point of view. Again, all of these things allow you to do things with your Azure resources from these command lines. Oftentimes when we work in a business environment, we want to start to automate things. So instead of having to always manually create virtual machines and manually add them into load balancers, writing up scripts in order to get these things done automatically is not only more efficient, but it also reduces the chances of errors, because once you script something and you test it, then that's going to act the same way every time you do it. So you can use the portal, you can use the command line, which is CLI and PowerShell. And finally, the command line tools are also built into the browser. So you can go into the portal. At the top, there is a greater than sign and underscore, which says Cloud Shell. And when you click it, you are basically given a command line interface right within your browser. So you don't need to download the SDK to your local. And you can have your files all within the Azure portal and do all your automations from that machine and not have to have it on your local. You can see here in the Cloud Shell that you can choose between the PowerShell interface and the Bash CLI interface, and then that's up to you in terms of which one you use. You have the same power to create and manage resources from PowerShell as you do from the portal. Microsoft has a tool called Azure Advisor. So when you are actually in the portal, it analyzes your use of resources and says, oh, here's, like on screen, it says you can save $2,800 a month by following these two recommendations. And so through availability, security, performance, and cost, it's going to make you recommendations based on your actual usage. So it's basically an artificial intelligence or machine learning that basically analyzes your performance and basically says we can improve your use of Azure through this.